Hello, freaky friends. It's just your friendly neighborhood horror writer, Tia. So I was going to talk about my pre-op appointment because I'm moving forward, or was trying to have a hysterectomy. Well, the pre-op appointment didn't quite go as planned. And I'm not sure I'm going to end up posting this because most likely I'm going to get very emotional about it. So, we had the pre-op appointment yesterday, and that was to basically you go in, you get your ultrasound, make sure everything's kosher, and you get to have a sit down with your doctor, and you get the pamphlet and all that stuff. And that's not what happened. When I went in, of course, I had the ultrasound and things like that, and we went into the doctor's office, and the doctor came in, and I could tell right away that there was something not right, because my doctor, she's fairly confident and kind of owns the space, but when she came in the room, she was kind of meek and shrunken compared to her usual self. And she started the conversation with, "I'm sorry, but..." She continued to tell me that there was some confusion in the conversation. Somehow things got fucked up, and I have to have a leap before I can have a hysterectomy, because the precancer I have is not precancer like stage 1, kinda, woulda, maybe, coulda. No, it's precancer stage 3, which is not cancer, but could mean that I have cancer somewhere else located in my cervix or in that area. So I find out that I have a very real chance that I may have cervical cancer, on top of the fact that I can't have the hysterectomy because they can't risk removing my uterus without doing chemo if I happen to have cancer, or it could spread, and so on and so forth. And they would need to know, they needed to do a radical hysterectomy where they take everything, including like the top of the vagina. So I get told that I can't have the hysterectomy until after I have the leap. My hysterectomy is scheduled and paid for, at least the hospital part, for August 17th. Something I've been waiting for 20 fucking years. And then I'm told that the precancer was misrepresented and that I did not have a choice between leap and hysterectomy. I have my only choice of I need a leap, which is a little bit cheaper than the hysterectomy, but still is surgery, and I will be going under. And I'll link to a video of what the leap procedure is, but basically it's where they cut off a chunk of your cervix and the interior of your cervix, like the cervical neck, I guess, and they test it and do a biopsy to make sure that you do not have full-on cancer. If I don't have cancer, I can have a hysterectomy. Well, I don't have insurance. And I don't qualify for Medicaid or anything like that for some reason. I don't know. I've tried a few years ago, and every time I've tried to get on some kind of medical relief help, I'd never gotten it. Most places don't see endo as a disability, even though I can't keep a job because of the problems that endo creates. So instead of this whole time I was getting in the headspace and trying to look at the hysterectomy and, from the spiritual place, just like, okay, I'm doing this thing and, this is me being reborn without pain and suffering. But no. Now I have the fear of having cancer, like the real fear, not just, well, we have these cells. They look kind of questionable. It wouldn't hurt you if you got them removed. No, now I have stage 3, which could be cancer on the real, And they tell me this in the doctor's office already when I've gotten everything set up. I'm a little more than 2 weeks out of my supposed doctor's visit. My heart broke. So, at the very least, I will be having a leap, which is what it is, and I'll be going home the same day and quick recovery. And I'll be fine, and I will continue life as I continue it now, which is with the endo and the pain and the bleeding and the good days and the bad days. But it's better than having cancer. So, I'm trying not to let myself get too worried about cancer. But my family, most of my family has died because of cancer of some form or another. Usually older than I am now, but not much older. So, that was my pre-op appointment. My doctor is trying to make arrangements to see if there's some way that I can get the LEEP and the hysterectomy and get it kind of bundled so it's not quite as expensive. But, I handed it to my doctor. She looked fairly upset with the miscommunication that happened. And she's trying to make it right. So right now I'm just sitting by the phone hoping that she can come up with something. That's a great compromise. But in the end, not having cancer is the win. And, I've lived with endo this far. I can live with endo till I hit menopause. Which apparently I'm nowhere close to, because I just had my hormones checked this year. So I have at least 5 to 10 years of endo in front of me. If I can pull the money together, if my wonderful, wonderful boyfriend and I can pull the money together, we're thinking if we can, we'll do the LEEP. They need a day to test, and if I don't have cancer, do the hysterectomy a week later. But I doubt that can happen, because, yeah. But yeah, I've prepared my life and got everything situated to where the hysterectomy was actually in a perfect place and everything, considering just plans. But what we're hoping for right now is the LEEP, which is a little bit cheaper than the hysterectomy because I don't have to stay overnight, and it's not as long as a procedure, not as complicated, and that I don't have cancer of any kind. And if I'm lucky, maybe I get a bonus and I'm able to get the hysterectomy that I've always wanted. But not getting the hysterectomy is not the end of the world. It hurts. It fucking hurts. And having endo's no fun. Oh well. So I probably won't post this. It's too personal. I don't know. I don't know. So wish me luck. Pray to the gods, whichever God you favor, and whatever God favors you. Give me a shout out. And maybe a hopeful blessing that I don't have cancer. And I'd like to thank all the friends that have shown me concern and love. Hey everyone, a bit of an update with the last video, which I filmed the day after all the shit hit the fan and all this confusion and surprises. There's a bit of a storm going on, so you'll probably hear that in the background. But if I don't do it now, I won't be able to do the update. And I want to get this video out as soon as I can. It's already going to be late as it is. But as you can imagine, everything's kind of gotten a little bit crazy, and trying to organize everybody and communicate with doctors and phone tag, and a lot of playing, you know, he said, she said, and trying to sort all that out. So I heard from my doctor the day after the last update, and she found a way to do a cold knife biopsy, which allows that to happen when I go in for surgery. It is fairly rare to do, but it is something that is plausible. I've done some research. I'm kind of looking into it. It's something that some of the research I've said, or some of the research I've looked at, is basically, you know, a lot of American medical systems try to do separate things to get more money from insurance companies and from people. This is a rare thing because our system isn't set up that way. But it is doable. What it breaks down to in layman's terms is they're going to do a cold knife biopsy instead of a LEEP. A LEEP is like lasers and they kind of just burn it off. But in the case of the precancer being stage 3, they don't want to accidentally spread cancer if I have it. You know, it's not confirmed that I have cancer. I may not have cancer at all, which is more often than not, which is a good thing, but it is a real possibility. So my doctor is being safe than sorry, and I'm okay with that. With the cold knife biopsy, it is, and I'm probably saying that wrong, they take more of the cervix, and since I'm getting a hysterectomy anyway, that's not a big deal because the hysterectomy is going to be taking the cervix as well. But the cold knife has less of a chance of spreading cancer if it's happening to take a biopsy of cancer. And they can run the test while I'm still under anesthesia. And if I have cancer, no hysterectomy. They stop the surgery immediately. And then they send me on to oncology and kind of move from there. But when I go under and they do the biopsy and there's a no, I don't have cancer, then they can go ahead with the hysterectomy. Now, once they take the hysterectomy, you know, once they take the uterus out, they're going to test it because they usually test the uterus and anything they pull out anyway. And they find out that I have cancer in my uterus and they've already removed the uterus. That means that they might have to go in for a second surgery to remove whatever else might be going on. Lymph nodes and things like that. And yeah, I'm worried. But by what I've read, you know, the chances are too big that I have cancer. It's just a possibility. And all I can do is hope and pray and keep positive and keep busy, that they do the biopsy and it's a no on cancer, and they go move forward on the hysterectomy, and then they do the biopsy on the uterus and it's a no on cancer. If not, things get even more complicated. But sometimes all you can do is hope and pray, and that's not just for Christians or monotheists, but I'm nervous, but I'm confident that the doctor's choice is reasonable, and the plan is reasonable, and I appreciate the effort in not trying to spread everything out to where I'm paying for 2 to 3 surgeries. If I do have cancer in my uterus, well, you know, paying for another surgery and everything, I don't know how we do it, but at this moment, keeping positive, and I'm keeping myself busy. I do find it kind of hard to do work, like audiobooks sitting still. As you can tell, I'm very wired today because dealing with the doctors and everything. Right now I'm just cleaning house and getting organized and getting everything ready for next Friday, which is the surgery on the 17th. So I don't know if I'm going to wake up 15 minutes later and they're going to say, sorry, we can't do the hysterectomy because you have cancer. I don't know if they're going to go in and start doing the hysterectomy and see that my endometriosis has made a complete mess of everything, and they're going to have to remove my ovaries. I don't know if they go in and they see massive problems and then they have to do a I forgot the name of it, but the hysterectomy where they move the top part of where the cervix is and the top part of the vaginal tunnel and all of that. So basically, I go to sleep on Friday the 17th, and there are like 5 different paths that can happen, and I won't know until I wake up. So, you know, any well wishes and prayers and whatever would be much appreciated. And, you know, if you're going through the same thing or you've went through the same thing, if you either need advice from me on how to keep sane, put it down in the comments below. I will be posting probably not the same day as the surgery, but I will probably be posting later on that week and let y'all know what happened. But yeah, everything right now is kind of up in the air. The only thing I know is I'm getting a cold knife biopsy, and they're going to test it, you know, as I'm laying on the table waiting for the hysterectomy. And I may or may not get the hysterectomy, and it may not be the hysterectomy that I think I'm getting. And I may or may not have cancer, and my endo may or may not be an issue. So, uncertainty. It is what it is. You know, I'm practical, and I just move forward as best I can. Some days are better than others, and I got to keep the faith of the process, the surgeon, the people, the odds, and the universe. Well, I try to make videos every other Monday, but with everything going the way it's going, I will post when I can post. All prayers and good energy and good thoughts for me and my family and my friends are much appreciated. And thank you for listening, and we'll get through this. All right. Well, till next time, may the night protect you as you protect the night.